It's the end of an era for University of Miami Hurricanes basketball. Jim Larranaga, Coach L, has just retired.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Multiple Sweet 16 and Elite 8 runs, just 2 years removed from a Final Four run. I hope y'all appreciate Coach L. I don't want to see any hate out there because the team is 4-8 right now. This is the end of an era. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC and writer for Canes County at Rivals. And thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first or your second listen today. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as soon as I saw in the late morning, there's a big-time Miami Hurricanes basketball development, literally the first person that I thought of. In fact, I didn't really even think of a second person. The first person that I thought of was our friend Hoodie Girl, and it's been way too long. We've had trouble getting our schedules matched up. We've tried to get Chalupa Batman matched up, but I had to just stiff-arm Chalupa Batman out of the way, and we're bringing Hoodie Girl on. Hoodie, were you, based on, some of what you've talked about on Buckets recently, you weren't completely surprised by Coach L stepping away, were you?
No, first of all, forgive how I look. I'm literally leaving for work right after this. I'm not surprised he's stepping down. I am a little surprised he's doing it mid-season.
Yeah.
But we just did a show about this 3 days ago and talked 20-30 minutes about that how much we love L and what he's done for the program, but it's looking like it's time. I really wish they would stop announcing retirements as I'm getting up for work, because they did this to me last season with Coach Meyer, which was very unexpected. This is a little bit more expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had losses to Mount St. Mary's and Charleston Southern. We didn't win anything in that Charleston Classic. The team's a mess, and it's really a shame. We had that Final Four run 2 years ago. Last year we kind of chalked it up to injuries and just not having depth, and it looked a little bit more promising coming in. My preseason predictions that we could be a bubble team, I thought we had that type of ceiling, but it hasn't worked. Our best win is like Presbyterian.
Yeah.
So, all the love to Coach L. He's done more for this program than I think anyone might ever be able to do. I don't know who's going to be the next guy, but they have very, very big shoes to fill. We've had multiple Sweet 16s and Elite 8 then a Final Four right after, 2 regular season ACC championships, a tournament championship. Probably should have had 2, but Norchad injured his ankle in that Duke game in the semis a couple years ago. And if anyone's been following this program as long as me and Donno have, people remember the Perry Clark and Frank Haith eras. Oh. And those are the people that really appreciate what Coach L has done, because we know how basement level this program was before he got to this program.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We need to, we can agree that obviously shockingly bad results to start this season, but that shouldn't take away what Coach L has done in his Miami tenure. He made University of Miami basketball not only matter, but he made Miami basketball a national power. 2 ACC regular season championships, which is difficult, an ACC tournament championship, Final Four, multiple Elite 8, Sweet 16s. That was, prior to Coach L getting here, Miami, I can remember one Sweet 16 under Leonard Hamilton and maybe one under Frank Haith, but I might be misremembering that. But
no, we never had a Sweet 16 under Haith.
That's right.
A lot of Haith's recruits were on the 2012 team.
Yeah.
But L's recruiting of Shane Larkin helped that out. But that team I think had more possibilities than our Final Four team had. We just had a ton of injuries into the tournament, and so it kind of screwed us over. But this is my favorite team of all time is right here, is this 2013 team.
That team was awesome.
L's done so much with so little because he did all of this pre-NIL. Obviously our Final Four run, Norchad and Nigel had some NIL stuff, but that 2012-2013 team was pre-NIL. And no one, he gave us, blowing out number 1 Duke at home in 2013 and storming the court and winning an ACC championship. And I think he has a winning record against Duke and UNC. He might be the
Yeah.
only ACC coach that's done that. I didn't have a chance to look that up, but I know Duke and UNC is going to be happy to see him go because he's probably been the most successful against them out of any other ACC school.
Yeah.
The best recruit ever to come through this program in Jaleel Bethea. We kind of saw him break out in the last game, even in the loss. So we'll see what he's able to do for the rest of the season. But it'll be interesting to see what the head coaching search brings.
Well, and on that, I'm sure Coach L will, he might try to, lobby for his guy because we understand like Bill Courtney, who works on the staff, is going to take over as the interim coach. But is there any real shot they give him the permanent gig, or do you think that you think Dan Radakovich, and of course Miami has a new university president and Joe Echeverria, are they going to try to go big?
Um, I don't think they should I mean, they may give him a little bit of a thought, but I don't think they should. I
Yeah.
think we need to go after either someone who's already head coaching at a somewhat bigger program, or go after a very very well known assistants at like programs at like a UConn, or some of these programs that get to the tournament back, every single year, have legitimate runs. We need somebody with experience. It's going to be hard to replace Coach L and what he's done for the program,
Yeah.
and I don't think we should be elevating assistants. I
Yeah.
know Coach Caputo is going to be a name that people bring up because he used to be on the staff and he's the head coach at George Washington. I need bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And like I know like for a time, because Caputo was here for many years, and I know Coach L, you're always going to lobby for your guys. It was always lobbying for Caputo to get a head coaching job. He did eventually get that. So like I wouldn't blame Coach L if he lobbies for Courtney, but we don't, Miami, I think, has gone too conservative with their baseball hires in recent years. I don't think you can afford to do that with basketball. This is a revenue sport, and I believe baseball should be treated maybe with more preference than it is. But like basketball's not quite football, but it is a revenue sport. It is important. I think they need to get this next hire right.
Yeah. I think we hit a
Yeah.
home run with the women's program and the hiring of Coach
Yes.
Phillip. I mean, I know we're only
Yeah.
a little bit into the season, but and she's already got a top 10 recruiting class for next year. So I really think, speaking of baseball, I really think we hit a home run with her. Time will tell with that. But I think we need to go outside the program, and even in the Coach L tree, go outside of that and
Yeah.
find a guy with legitimate head coaching experience in a power conference, or a big time assistant that has been working under a guy like Dan Hurley or someone like that. So I don't want the nepotism hire.
Hmm. Well, okay, so Miami obviously is going to have to navigate the rest of this basketball season, and we're, I know we've played 12 games already, but we're only getting into the ACC part of the schedule here shortly. What is the ceiling? Like, do you think Bill Courtney and this talent can Bethea continue to break out? Do you think Miami can end up maybe finishing the season stronger than they've started it? I'll say it that way.
I mean, so here's the thing. My goal, after what I've seen from the non-conference part of the schedule, and also we did have that one ACC game against Clemson, which we fought. And
Yeah.
my goal right now is just to make the ACC tournament. With the additions of Cal, Stanford, and SMU, the bottom three teams do not make the ACC tournament in the ACC. So my goal right now is to do well enough in the ACC to make the tournament. This is obviously not an NCAA tournament team. But I just want to see some fight. Most of this team is seniors. Jaleel Bethea is going to be gone after this year, whether he goes to the draft or he transfers. There's no way he's sticking around, in my opinion, which is sad. He hasn't got enough playing time, in my opinion, over the course of the non-conference. So hopefully we see more of him. But I mean, we'll see. I hopefully we can keep our signing class together. Hopefully some of our freshmen that we do have decide to stay. But yeah, no, the goal for this season is to try and win and get into the ACC tournament and maybe win a couple of games there to go out on a bit of a better note than what the year started like. But it's rough.
It is.
It's rough.
I know this hurts. I can tell. I can tell you're saddened by this. And Coach L, just what an important member of the University of Miami family and the South Florida community. Hopefully, he stays in South Florida, continues to be part of this community. And Hoodie Girl is a huge part of the University of Miami content community. And you mentioned you'd speculated a little bit about Coach L in a recent episode of the Buckets podcast, which is like, that's the spot for Canes basketball, men's and women's news. Let people know, Hoodie Girl, when they can find the next Buckets pod. And I imagine you're going to have plenty to talk about next time out.
Yeah, I have to leave for work, but the guys are doing an emergency pod at 6 p.m. So we're under the umbrella of 5 Reasons Sports. So just on YouTube, search 5 Reasons Sports, and we have all different Miami shows for all Miami teams. So just look for Buckets. If you want to listen to the audio, just search for wherever you get your podcasts on 5 Reasons Canes, and you'll find our football, basketball, and baseball shows that cover all Canes stuff. And then you can follow us on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it at Buckets_Canes. But yeah, the guys are going to do a show at 6 p.m. They're watching the press conference right now. Elle is doing the press conference right now. So we'll see what he has to say. But man, all my love and respect to what Coach L has done for this program. Me and Donno were students when Frank Haith was there. And so we've seen what the bottom of this program can be. And he's led us to heights that we may never see again, because basketball has not always been appreciated at the U. So hopefully, Radakovich does a national coaching search and we get, someone good to come into the program. But listen, we're still going to cover the team, the good and the bad. So make sure you're watching Buckets, and keep an eye out for the ladies. They play Sunday against UNC. It's a ranked team. The ACC in the women's program is a gauntlet. There's 6 ranked teams currently in the ACC. So every game is a banger. So keep an eye out for them.
No doubt. Thank you so much to Melissa, a.k.a. Hoodie Girl, for taking the time. Have an awesome night at work coming up. We appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you follow Hoodie Girl on X at the Cooler Mel B. Thank you so much. And I know we'll have you on after some good news next time, not the bad.
And I'll see you all in Orlando for whoever's going to the bowl game. I'm
going.
Yeah.
We'll share a Pop-Tart.
Let's do it. Strawberry frosted are the best.
That's the one. I had one this morning for breakfast. That exact kind.
Yes. Excellent.
I love it. We'll talk to you guys next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.